Well, hello everyone. I want to share with you another product from Xvive. Remember them? Well, they sent me the U45Ds. These are the stereo in-ear wireless monitoring system, right? Remember, if you look back, you'll find the video. Excellent product. Well, they recently reached out and said, hey, how would you like to try some of our in-ears? They have an in-ear that's called the T9. I have it right here. I'm actually going to not only give you my opinion, but I had a couple of other musicians take a look at these, and I have some video clips of them explaining what they think. They knew in advance that I'm reviewing these for Xvive, but I think what they have to say is very consistent, and I think it's really a good, clean way of looking at whether or not this is worth the money. Now, these are a couple $100, okay? So to put that in perspective, I've purchased quite a few in-ears. Some I liked, some I disliked. Some, I think I wasted my money on quite a few just trying to find the right type so that I could hear. Because if you can't hear when you're playing live, you can't play. It's just the way it is. If you can't get a clean sound, you can't hear the bass player, you can't hear the drums, if you can't hear the mix, it's a problem. And you especially have to get feedback from your own instrument. And I play acoustic, and acoustic is really, really hard to amplify. So once you get that in the mix right, you want to make sure you're hearing what other people are hearing. So having the right in-ears, not just, it has to be mixed right at the board, but you also have to have the right in-ears. So we're going to talk about that from a live setting perspective. But first, let me show you what's inside this box, okay? So when you look inside the box, first thing you're going to see is, it pops up, is the actual in-ear itself, the monitor. And they look like this. Now, these are already assembled. When you get them, they're not assembled. So you have to spend some time and think about it, you know, which one is right, which one's left. And when you put them on the in-ear wire, because they're the Y-type shape, I'll show you here. Because you have the two prongs, see that? I think it's called the Y-type 2, something like that. So because of that, you want to make sure they go on not just right to left, but correctly positioned so that when you hold, like this is the way they're going to go on my ears. So when you hold them out, those two in-ears are facing each other. This is the right, and this is the left, okay? So when they hook on my ear, I have them on here just so now they'll just fall right into place. See that? And these fit really, really nice. They feel good. They feel soft. And so when you look at these, in fact, now that I said that, I have to tell you a little more about that. Look at how these are molded. I don't know if I can bring this into focus well enough, but see that? These are so smooth. They're like they become kind of part of your ear. Very, very nicely done. When you first put them on, I actually, when I first put them on, I used the foam tips, and I put them in, and they felt like they were sticking out. They felt too big, okay, and they were sticking out, okay. They weren't sitting in right, and just didn't feel right to me. So what I did was I started changing out these little earbuds that you get. In fact, let me see where these are at. There's actually a couple packages that they send you. These little earbuds, see that? You can see you got silicone. You have some silicone in this bag as well, but you also have some foam tips. And so you have plenty to choose from, okay, in terms of shapes, in terms of sizes. You should be able to find what fits your ear when you get this because of the variety that they send you. It's excellent. So you get those, and I finally settled on these silicone ones here, as you can see. And the funny thing is that I let two other people use these, and they kind of settled on the same thing. They like the silicone, as you'll hear, because I have some quick clips of them talking about these. So yeah, so here you have it, and they go together quite nicely. And let me put these in the right and left. There they are. Ready to go on the ear. And of course, most people like to wear these behind their head, and they cinch them in place. They do that quite well. Be honest with you, I usually, everything ends up in front because we have to remove them. We're kind of taking them off and on, and for different reasons. The other thing that it comes with that I think is really cool is it has a really nice case. And it's similar to the case that this product, it's that same feel to it. It's kind of a hard shell. When you open it up, there we go. Inside, you can keep your earbuds, but you also, I'm going to take this apart here. You see it has a little compartment there where you can keep a little tool, a little brush, and a little metal wick there, whatever you want to call that, to clean your earbuds. And here you have a 1/4 inch. But a lot of times, like in my case, I'm using a mixer, a personal mixer, where I can mix the sound coming into my earbuds. But the adapter is a 1/4 inch, so all I have to do is put the adapter that comes with it on there, stick it in, and I'm ready to go. A lot of, it just depends. Or if you're using something like the in-ear monitors and you have a transmitter, usually those, well, some come dual, but commonly you'll see them an 1/8 inch. So you can just plug it in that way. So yeah, a lot of devices that you might listen to music also use that 1/8 inch. But it's nice to have the ability so that you can use the adapter and fit both sizes. It's really cool. So that comes with it. So you got your earbuds, you have your adapter, you have a way to clean them, you have a nice case to keep them, but most importantly, you have some in-ears that I think do a really, really good job. Now, let me just give you sort of a sum up as to what I hear when I listen. I mean, obviously you can't hear what I'm hearing right now, but these cost $200, okay? I have another pair that I wear all the time that costs me twice that, okay? There's more drivers in there. This has 2 armature drivers inside, but the one that I have has more than that, and it costs more, okay? And so you would expect more out of the more expensive pair, but I have to be honest with you, these are very close, okay? They're not the same, but they're very, very close to a more expensive pair. And it's just not my opinion, because I have 2 other opinions, and I think that same theme is alluded to in the conversations you're going to hear. So yeah, so they sound really good. $200 is a great price. If you're on a budget and you need something you can rely on, that's comfortable, that's made well, that feels comfortable, like you could leave them in your ear for a long period of time, where you could hear the ranges you need to hear from the lows to the mediums to high. These are mostly focusing medium high, but I don't like, and certainly don't hear it with these, is when that high is so harsh that it sounds like you're in a trash can. That's not true for these. The high end is really nice and clean. It's crisp. You can hear what you need to hear without that sound that's a little bit on the harsh side. And of course, the mediums on these is very rich in my thinking. You can hear everything nice and clean. And then you get this low end and I can adjust that low end so that I picked up the bass. I could pick up the bass player very nicely with it. So it has an all-around range to it that I think worked really well. Now, I don't know the dynamics, the physics behind all of this, and I'm not even going to try. My main thing is when I buy something is, does it work? Can I hear? And so I can tell you without a shadow of doubt they work. I can hear. But not just that. I think they're made well. They feel right. They feel like they're going to last. Even the wires feel like they're not going to break. I've had in-ears from very, very well-known companies that come with wires that they were breaking constantly on me. They right here, it would split, and I was always buying new cables, and so I have the more expensive pair that I have now has a cable that feels just like this one, very similar, and both feel quite well made, and I suspect that these are going to last like those, and I've had them for a long time, and all that breakage stopped. And so I like the fact that they put this type of cable in here. It just works. I mean, you can just put it on your ear, and if you have it set up right, it goes right in, and it feels really, really good. One other thing I notice is that they're very isolating, so they protect your ears. I put these on, and I can clap my hands, and I can hear it, but barely. Okay, so it really isolates well. And so it does what it needs to do, not only so that you can bring your mix into your ears, but also protect your ears from large volumes, high decibels that could damage your ears. They come with enough little buds to go on the tips of these, the ear tips, and it's got the adapter. I mean, I think for the money, it's a great buy. It's a really, really good buy. Now, what I have right now is a video clip I want to show you. Our director, he plays multiple instruments. And this last Sunday, he was playing keyboard like he usually does. And I asked him if he would wear them. He wore them for a couple of sets and probably in his ears for about an hour in terms of length of time. So I asked him to do a quick video on his opinion on them. So let me just let you hear what Lucas has to say about the T9s made by Xvive. Let me see how they fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good. So could you hear everything?
Yeah, everything sounded great. Honestly, sound quality is awesome.
Any instrument would have,
any
player?
Instrument, I think really like bass would be awesome. Even drums because it has a lot of low end, but it's still clear, so it sounds great with
What
piano.
level are you using now? You don't have to necessarily say the type you have, but are you a $200 pair? What do you play?
Where do I put these?
What do
I usually use?
Yeah.
Usually, yeah, it's like a $200 pair.
Okay, because those are $200. Do you think they live up to
These are living up to the $200, definitely, for sure.
Okay, good,
if not a little better. I would only say that the fit, it sticks out just a little bit, maybe with my particular ear shape. Maybe.
Do you think another earbud would bring it in
maybe a little bit, yeah, different earbud. I think the length of this, piece is fairly good. It's just a little bit big here, so I can't get it in my ear the whole way.
That's good to know, okay.
But it's isolating, so it doesn't bother me. It stays in my ear.
So you would still use them and buy them?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they
okay.
sound awesome. And I don't complain at all about them.
Yeah, and the wires, what do you think about those wires?
They're pretty good.
They seem pretty tangled or?
No tangling. No. They feel pretty sturdy too. It's not like too flimsy either. I think they're great.
Well, see, I have the Ultimate ears, and it has very similar to that, so it wasn't much different.
Yeah, not bad at all. I definitely would enjoy continuing to use these. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, in addition, I had a visitor come to my house yesterday, Bryce, and so I sat in the living room with him, and I said, "Hey, you play guitar a lot. In fact, he's played venues, electric guitar, for venues up to 30,000 people. Okay, so he's got some experience. And his in-ears that he uses are much more professional. They're custom made. In fact, they're molded to his ears. And so he's used to a really high-end in-ear. So I asked him if he'd take a listen to these, and I was surprised at what he had to say. So I thought maybe you'd like to hear it as well.
You're listening to the Xvive, and
they're called T9s.
The T9s. The T9s, they're 2 drivers?
There's 2 armature drivers in there.
Okay. So I'm listening to a song, Waves Upon Waves, Snarky Puppy and Metropole Orchestra. One of my favorite songs. It has a lot of instruments, so I was like wanting to listen to it to give these a good review right now because I don't have my gear with me. But listening to this right now with both ears in, the fit is nice. I'm used to a custom fit, but there's pros and cons to that. I'll say that, you know, custom fit's cool, but every 5 years you have to get a remold. You have to get it remolded, and that's kind of annoying. And as like a year or two goes on past that, you're gonna get some sound leakage. So a lot of people lean towards these that are like universal and they have this little rubber thing, you know. So keeping that in mind, these have really good sound cancellation. There's not like my talking is not leaking through. And so it's a good fit on my ear. And it's quite a broad range of instruments that I can hear in good detail. So from this test, I can tell it's really nice. I think they're great. But I think that it kind of just comes down to what instrument you're playing, and a lot of things like the drivers, depending on like what kind of drivers they are. Like if you play bass, you want something to pick a driver that's gonna like work for those frequencies. And for me in guitar, I want something in mid frequencies to high frequencies. So that's why my drivers are kind of set up to where it's like 1 high, 2 mids, and 1 low. So I'm getting a wide range of the mids.
I think that's the beauty of the armature. That is what they're made for.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not a huge amount of low, but it's mostly the mid-range and the higher end.
Yeah.
So that's the way I understood it. But
yeah. But, you know, without having them hooked up to my guitar, these sound really good. This is a pretty complex song, and I'm able to hear and distinguish everything going on. Yeah. So
the price is
I have no complaints.
$200 on that. What does that make you think when you hear $200?
$200 is great. Yeah, I didn't know that before. I probably would have guessed these might have been like, you know, $250 to $350. So it's a little less, just a little bit than what I kind of thought it was. So these are great. I think, like, for the people that are looking just for entry level, these are great. And then for people that are looking for a second pair that they can, you know, have as a backup, that are also great. These are also, they also fit that. So, yeah.
So I think that sums it up. I think I hear a very similar theme about the T9s made by Xvive. The theme that runs through all of the opinions is that they're well made, they fit well, they sound good, they meet the need, the price is right. Wouldn't think twice about having them. Could see how they would last. So let's sum this up. What do we get? We get value, we get quality, we get budget minded, and they're just an all-around practical option for in-ears for those of you that are playing live that want to protect your ears and you want to hear. They work, they really do. So I'm going to leave you with that, and thank you, Xvive, for sending these to me. I think they're a great product. I think really there's only one thing. If I was to give some constructive criticism, I don't even know if you can call it criticism, just a suggestion. The one thing I noticed when I was putting these together was that while they're marked right and left, you can see it. It's on there, okay? It's hard for my eyes to see it. It's probably just my age. I mean, I can see it right now, but I had to fight to figure out which one was right and which one was left. So maybe just a red dot, okay? If you could just do that. Now, if you can't, it's no big deal, because I'll just go get some fingernail polish, put my own dot on there, or a piece of tape on the right side. It's okay. But I would just want to make that suggestion. That was really the only thing. Because other than that, they fit well, they sound good, they work well, they're great value, and I would buy these. All right. Well, I hope you all have a great day or night wherever you are in this world.